it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today. Please put in the chat where you're from and who you are. When we start reviewing the news articles, if you want to look at our Facebook page, just click here and you can follow the articles along as we go. See you in a moment. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Tech for Senior Live. It is September the 7th, 2023, and we have a great show for you today. It's going to last about an hour, and we have a great cast for you, a great panel of experts I'll be introducing in a few moments, all to talk about the news of the day. Yes, we've scoured the earth and found the greatest to talk to you about the news, and they're all over the place. In fact, I don't even know where Bob is. He just arrived, so Bob is arrived. So we'll be talking about this as we go along. Who are we? Well, we're a bunch of seniors that like to talk about the news, and we have our main show is on Monday, and it actually is a Zoom meeting, and we broadcast that out to YouTube and we broadcast it to YouTube, but it's a Zoom meeting. So I see some people have already logged into our Zoom account expecting to find us, but this isn't a Zoom meeting. This is actually broadcast out on StreamYard, and it goes to Facebook and YouTube. So it's different. So if you want to find out how to get to where we are, what we're going to do is I'll put this up here. This is our website, and if you go there, there's a big button that says take you to the show, and it'll take you to the show and you can watch it, and that's how you get here. Or if you just look on our Facebook channel on Facebook, if you look at this is our Facebook site. If you go there, you can see the shows being broadcast now. You might also want to follow along as we look at the news articles. If you want to follow along on our Facebook page, you can of course see the articles as we go through them. Before I introduce everybody, we would like to know who you are. We don't, sitting here in our production sort of booth, we have no idea who's out there. We could just be talking to ourselves all morning, which is fine. We're all good friends, and we like to talk about the news and drink some coffee and have a good time. But we like to know if we're actually talking to somebody. If you could put your name in the chat, maybe where you're from, where you're, what the weather is, any questions you have, you want to say hi, put that in the chat, and we'll go through that and talk about you in a few minutes. But let me introduce our panel today. But before I do that, just a reminder that this is recorded, and you can replay it if you can't make it and you can't see it right now. We do record this, and it is on our YouTube channel, as well as, of course, our Monday shows. And if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, we have a newsletter that comes out twice a week. Again, you can subscribe to it on our Tech for Senior. I promise, Scouts Honor, we don't sell your, there's no advertising, and we don't even keep we don't want to know your email address. We want to know your email address, but we don't sell it. We don't use anything. We will keep it close to our heart and won't give it to anyone. So you're not going to get any spam messages, but it does keep you abreast of all the happenings with Tech for Senior that we as the week goes by. So let me introduce everyone today. Guess what? We do have a special guest, and I'll come to that in just a minute. Let me go around the screen as I see it. Huey, of course, first person I'm going to introduce is from. Oh, let me tell you that I'm from Comox, British Columbia. It's a little island off the west coast of Vancouver Island. We had some people drop by this week. We had Patty and Rolando from Pasadena, California. They dropped by to say hello to me. I sort of felt, oh boy, this is sort of cool. We're getting quite a following, Huey. Where people are dropping by. They wanted to meet me and have a look at the studio and how we produce tech for senior. It was sort of fun to have them. We got some more people coming next week. Gerald Smith is going to come by with his family, and we're going to have a little visit. So I guess it's a lot of fun meeting our fans, right, Huey?
Yeah, well, like it says right outside of your house, it says we live by the water. Drop in.
Exactly. So it is, yeah, it's sort of fun. So Huey, I know you're under the weather a bit today. I'm not going to ask you to talk a lot because we want to preserve that precious voice of yours, so that when you were talking about the news articles and you want to give us some good advice, I want you to be able to talk. So let's not get into your sore throat. But needless to say, you're doing better, and just preserve that voice for us, okay?
Yeah, I went to see my other doctor today, not you, and and so it's a little bit better than it was last night. We did the stud meeting last night, and then this Sunday is the WinSig.
Oh boy.
So hopefully I'll have my voice back by Sunday.
Sunday, right. Now, I have no idea. The next person I'm going to introduce is Bob Gustisha. Of course, he is our security expert on our Monday show. He's been with us since the start. Bob's a very smart guy. He produces a lot of videos about a lot of things. He's also a traveler. He's not at home now. He says he's from Orange, New Jersey. I have no idea where you are, Bob. We didn't even know if Bob was going to be on the show today. So how are you doing? And where are you? And are you in a motorhome or something? Where are you?
No, I'm in West Orange, New Jersey.
Okay.
At my brother's home, and I'm actually in his basement.
Oh.
So this is what you're looking at. You're looking at the basement, and the lighting is not made for a studio, because the lights are behind me. They're shining into the camera, right? And the camera, of course, everything's either too bright or too dark, depending on how you look at it. And you'll also see that in the next version of Security News Roundup. The picture is there, but I could have left myself out. It would have been probably better.
So when Bob always says, I'm going on a holiday, I'll be away for a couple of weeks. Last time he did this, he was on a ship, and he was cruising to Hawaii. And of course, he made all the shows. He did the Security News update. He spent more time broadcasting off that ship, I think, than he did in the bar. Anyway, so he was taking a holiday now with Alice, and he said this, I'll be away for a couple of weeks. And I said, yeah, right. I said to Huey, he's going to have Security News update for us as he travels. He said, no, I'm not. Well, we were just getting the show planned on Saturday morning, and boom, Bob's Security News update come in. I told you he's going to do it. And
you will have one. You will have one for this coming week.
You're like an ever-ready. What is that ever-ready bunny that just keeps going and going and going?
All I need is some ears.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad you're here. And of course, our special guest. Now, I don't know all the accolades I could talk about Jim Guld. Not only is he a very good friend, he gave me a lot of advice to Huey and I when we started this show. He's been our technical advisor for many years. I don't know. I thought about what I'm going to say about it, but I got to be so careful because his wife, Chris, is also a very good friend. I know she's listening to this as well. And I have to be careful what I say. I don't want to say he's the brains behind the whole thing, or she's going to be really mad at me, but he is the technical guy behind that makes the whole operation all work. And he's a great friend of ours and very knowledgeable man about technology and computers. A heck of a nice guy. He's also been in Toastmasters for a long time and is a diver. And part of the talk today, we're going to talk about other uses of your phone, and one of them, of course, is dropping it in the water and taking some pictures. So so he's going to tell us all about that today. We've got some interesting video for you. Welcome, Jim, and welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Ron, and thanks for inviting me. Hi, guys, Huey and Bob, and it's good to see you here. And the folks out there, I see a few names I recognize, and
Yeah.
it's good to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to have some fun today. Huey, is anyone out there listening to us? Geeks on Tour, Chris is here. Excited to see your special guest today. I know I got to be careful what I say, right? Chris is listening. Chris does, of course, a regular. Well, Chris and Jim are on staff with us at Tech for Senior, and Chris does a regular a couple of times a month. She does a Fun with Photos segment for us, and it's very popular, and she does a great job with it. So we have lots of fun with that. Bernard, Sterling Heights Computer Club, Detroit, Michigan. Gerald Smith, West Seattle, 57 degrees and cloudy. Gerald is coming to visit me I think it's next week. Gerald, I got to get some, we've got to just organize the exact date, but he wants to come up and see the Tech for Senior headquarters in Vancouver Island. Well, one of the two headquarters, right, Huey? We have two international studios, one here and one in Florida, right? And Richard Clarkson, California, 64 degrees, now going up to 87 later on. Geek Wireless, Troy, Michigan, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, overcast and wet. Chris here, we see now. Kirkland, Washington, Steve Powell, Kirkland, Washington, 59 degrees and overcast. Bob Baxter, Bellevue, Washington, about 59 degrees, cloudy, heading for 69. Stan Wallner, Orlando, Florida, cloudy, sunny, 85 degrees. Richard Clarkson, Pasadena is 5 miles from me. Yes, I've been to the big parade. Sally, cooler from Kirkland, Washington, cooler this week. Don't forget flashlight on smartphone. Before I introduce everybody, Stan says, I lived in West Orange, New Jersey for 1 to 2 years in 1975 on a tall hill. In the winter, when the leaves were off the trees, we could see the lights of New York City. Pretty cool. Geeks on Tour, this should be fun. Bernardo DeFazio, Bernardo, were you there when we visited the Sterling Heights Computer Club a few years ago? Good question. If you were, put it in, let us know. Olive Cousin, hi from Oregon.
Good spelling, Bill.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's using voice recognition, you know. Anyway, welcome everyone. Welcome. We got a good group of people today. So the first thing that the first article I wanted to talk about, let's bring up here and we'll come down, is an article that was out this week, and it said the first full touch phone case for underwater photos and videos. This actually was written in 2022. It was last year, I guess. This just came out with, and this is well, Jim talked about it on their last show, and it was how to use your camera underwater. And I guess then I thought, and after I watched your show, Jim, I thought about what is the point of having a GoPro now? Like are these going to be obsolete? Because Jim's going to tell us all about the interesting stuff that he's done with underwater photography with his Pixel 7. So what do you do, Jim? Do you just take it and drop it in the water, or do you take your Pixel down there, or do you have to put it in something? Like, this is $1,000 phone. I don't want to put it in salt water.
Right. I have the Pixel 7 Pro, and it is about $1,000. But you put it into a case, and it goes into a little holder first, and then you put it into the case that is the underwater housing for the actual device. Any phone will fit. I mean, any normal new phone is going to fit in there. And it has a placeholder. This is plastic that comes with it for when you're traveling. And let me set it up here, turn it on, and get the camera going. So I do all that before I put it into the housing, and I extend the time for it. And then it goes into the housing like this. So it slides in there. And so the lenses are on this side. This is the back side of it, if you will. And then there's a cover for it. And then you see the outside. But this is the only place where it opens. So you just close that, and it's nice and tight with a O-ring on it. But the cool thing about this is that you don't lose the touch screen. So I can take a picture with the camera of you guys, us, and the nice thing about it, it's right in Google Photos. So if I'm connected, it'll go automatically up to my Google Photos account, and I have it a backup automatically. It'll go down to about 180 feet. Yeah.
Wow.
So it allows you to take your phone's touchscreen underwater. It's made of metal and plastic, and the back of the housing is rigid plastic, this part here. And this side has the glass lens, the port for it. So that's glass and metal. And you get these filters that can go on there. And because you lose red colors after a certain depth. Now the phone can try and do the white balance thing and put those back, but some people like to use red filters and turn that off anyway. You can put filters on it, macro additions and things like that. It is really a cool tool. I saw this when we were on our last big dive trip, and it just really intrigued me. I've been doing GoPro underwater video for a long time. And the thing is, you have to, when you're done with the dive or whatever, you have to take the card out or connect it physically to some way to get the information off a computer. I always carried a computer for editing. So you take the card out, you put a copy on the computer, you put another copy on a backup, you clean the card off, and then you put it back into the GoPro for the next dive. And that, I had several of them, so I just kind of rotated, and you have to change batteries anyway. And this, it uses the phone. I don't have to deal with anything anymore.
Now the other thing is,
and I can edit them right on the phone. Huh? Sorry.
This is the list it's compatible with, but the cool part about that is you were telling me that they just make the insert for any phone, right?
Almost any phone. Yeah, any modern phone, they use a 3D printer, just like,
yeah,
maybe a little bit better than what most people have for a home 3D printer, but maybe not. I could have done this on my 3D printer had I had the setup for it. But yeah, it's just this little piece of plastic here, and it comes with the major phone inserts. It comes with those. Those are pre-made, and those are good hard plastic for the iPhones and for the big Samsungs. So those, and they just fit into the same housing. So you can have multiple phones for. The housing is $200. It's not that expensive. Some housings, especially for real cameras, if you will, the mirrorless and the single lens reflex types, that they're expensive as can be. And then you got all these lights. I'm not a serious photographer, underwater photographer. I like to document my dives. Basically, that's what I'm doing, is documenting my dives, taking a dive log. So I have my computer, and then I can upload these pictures, and if they're really good, I'll put some clips together for a movie that I do for a small trip. And you have a
Right.
video there.
So let's play the video. And I want to show everyone the quality that I'm going to show what Jim. There's a short video that Jim made.
Yeah. Can you answer the question?
Yeah, there's no connectivity underwater, not even under a foot. So there's no wireless technology there. But once you're at the surface, you could, you could make a phone call, because once you're at the surface, it's going to connect.
Yeah.
If you have everything turned on, right? And you can make a phone call inside the housing. You can use the other apps that are on your phone. You can use it underwater. There's a compass on your phone. So you can have all of these things running and just switching through it just like you would on your, above the water, using the touch screen. It's really it's a soft plastic membrane that you push down on, and it kind of squeezes with the pressure of the water, and it makes a nice touch screen. Around the edges, it's a little bit tougher, but you can do all of the things that you can do on a regular. I can even unlock it with my fingerprint.
All right, let's watch the video. Let's watch the video, and let's see what happens here.
So that's Chris jumping in the water. That's her there, me and her. And spotted moray. But look at that. Quality is really not bad at all. And, it's not professional, but this was really my first trip, or my first real dive with it. That's with the filter on. The red filter was on when I took that shot at the surface. So you see the red.
So you can also take stills, eh?
Stills and video, yeah. I was doing both. The thing with my GoPro is I would always just almost exclusively do videos and take snaps or, frame grabs. That's Chris. Pretty cool. That's about 70 feet down.
Now, is it recording audio as well?
It does. You can hear the bubbles in the background. I put some music on it. I did it a little bit loud. And I actually did the editing for this. I put together the clips right on the phone. That's the end of it. Moving right along.
That's good. That's amazing. Now, so Jim, tell me, what do you think? Like, GoPro versus your phone, like, where do you think the GoPro really has a future? What do you think?
Well, certainly it does. The GoPro is small. It's really a good camera. They just came out with a new version 12 Hero 12 Black.
Right.
Excuse me. For $400. Some people don't want to put their $1,000 phone, it's their only phone, in a box and take it underwater. And I understand that. Well, I tested it for water, and it has good reviews. I didn't see anybody ever on there ever see one about a leaky case. So I believe it's a good one.
It's a good one.
Anyway,
right,
but the GoPro, again, like I said, it involves a bit more.
Plus, the housing is much more expensive too, right? The housing that you have to use is much more.
No, the GoPro itself will go to 30 feet by itself, and the housing, the housing for it, I think, is $150 to take a deep. Might not even be that much, but I have that. I have 2 GoPro underwater video cameras with housings, so that I'm cover extra batteries, all that stuff. And it's another, it's pretty compact. All that stuff fits in a small hard box, but it's still another piece to pack. And I got my phone with me all the time, and even though I have a little box for this thing, it's not as, it's about the same size.
Okay.
It actually is.
But I didn't know that. So a
GoPro.
GoPro will actually go down 30 feet just by itself. You don't need any equipment for that. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Just to recap for everyone, this is the price. This is the device, and as Jim said, it's $200. And it comes with a touch screen, which Jim described, and it has a color correction. And it comes with holders.
Well, it doesn't come with those holders. Those are
no.
extra.
You can certainly certainly
and you
buy
can
that.
put lights on it, and you can really trick it out and put a lot of fancy stuff on it, just like you can with regular underwater camera rigs, they call them.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Couple of comments and questions from our audience.
Just fun, huh?
Yeah.
Couple of comments and questions from the audience.
All right, let's
Sure.
deal with
Let's
those
see.
before we get to news articles. Olive says, "How well does the touchscreen work with diving gloves?"
I don't know. I haven't tried it with gloves. It will work. I'm sure it's a little more clumsy. I haven't tried it with gloves.
Geek Wireless says, "Are those professional?"
Those are professional performers. Well, I think they're actually overpaid.
And John says, "I actually out and about doing errands. I am so glad I can watch this on my phone sitting in the parking lot. Glad to be with you all. Love being able to live vicariously through your phone." I guess Chris says, "Oh yes, highly paid model named Chris." There you go. Jolin says, "Chris and Jim's travels." Yes, terrific video. There we go. And the GoPro is still simpler underwater, either on or off. Just takes one hand to hold on.
Right.
That's another point. Yeah, good point, Chris.
Yeah. Now it doesn't matter the GoPro that it's salt water. You just wash it off when you take it out, and it's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
GoPro,
All right. Well, Huey,
I
go
always
ahead.
have it. I always have it in the case or in the housing when I'm diving with the GoPro. So I just rinse the housing off. The GoPro itself stays dry. In my case, you're talking about if you're just swimming with it or shallow diving, you can do that. With it.
GoPro also has some nice attachments or things that you attach the GoPro to that make it easy.
Oh yeah, they have
the one on your head makes it so easy.
I have the head thing that'll go on here. They have a chest strap, and they have all kinds of clips, and that's where they make their money. GoPro with all the accessories, because what it comes with, it didn't even used to have the the piece that mounted it to the piece that mounted to a tripod. Now at least part of that's included.
The thing that I noticed, Jim, that was different when I tried using my camera on my e-bike. If I did some video about a year ago, I tried it, and the image stabilization system, at least on my Pixel 6 and Pixel 3, just wasn't good enough. It was much better on the GoPro than it was it was the image stabilization when I had the camera on the bars on the bike and I was riding. I wasn't riding over dirt or really, but even on the road.
It's amazing how good the image stabilization is on the GoPro.
Yeah,
but they're one of the companies that really started that whole technology or benefited from the stabilization, and it's getting better all the time. Now my 7 has some very good stabilization, and Chris's Samsung 23 is phenomenal. Even
really?
Even with on a longer lens telephoto type thing,
right?
It's steady. She's done a couple of videos on it. You should check it out.
We will do. Thanks, Jim. Okay, let's get on with the news articles. We'll let me just share my screen, and we'll let's get on with that. And we'll look at what we got today. And we'll come down here, and let me just make this a little bit bigger. And if you want to follow us along, we will on our show today. You can certainly, this is our Facebook page, and you can pop over there and watch these as we go. All right, the first article today, this was from Tech Radar. This is, and it was sort of follow up what I did last Monday. I'm doing a 2-part series on how to purchase a PC or purchase considerations for a new PC. And I did part 1 last week. And if you follow our show this Monday, I'll be doing part 2. This is an article. It's a good article. I agree with everything they say. It's from Tech Radar. The best computer in 2023, top desktop PCs for work and play. It's a good reference article. I'm not going to go through with it, but it's a good article for you. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this was an article that came out this morning from Paul Thurrott. Of course, he's a very well-known journalist who does a lot of Windows articles. And Chrome is being redesigned for its 15th anniversary. So we're going to get a new makeover of Chrome. I don't know if you guys saw that article or have any comments, but it'll be, there'll be a few different changes and different. Anyway, this is coming out soon because we're getting upgrades weekly now with Chrome, right? So it will be coming out, and this is the for its 15th anniversary. This is an article. If you on the AT&T, there may be some of you who have old DSL lines. This is actually, I talked about this a couple of years ago. A lot of older condos in downtown urban areas have old DSL lines in providing internet. And these can be problematic because some of these condos are brick, and they don't allow antennas on the outside of the condo. The condo developers don't, and then it's hard to get reception from cell phones. So so internet can be problematic, and AT&T is getting rid of them all. So this may cause some grief for some people. I don't know if anyone still uses the old DSL lines. Hugh, you did an article once on how many people still use the old copper lines, didn't on phone lines?
Yeah, the POTS, the
POTS
plain
line.
old the plain old telephone system.
Yeah,
people still pay that rent every month, and
Yep.
Still have that landline. They want to hang on to it in case the power goes out.
yeah. Well, those are if you're an AT&T customer, those are by and large going away. Bob, what's going on with printers?
Well, Microsoft has decided that if people don't want to conform to what they have available for everybody, they're not going to do updates anymore on printer drivers. Now, they've just made the announcement they don't actually start doing anything until 2025, and it'll be 2027 before they actually start enforcing it. But they did in 2013 have a standard for printer drivers that's being followed by some of the manufacturers, but not everyone. So basically, Microsoft is saying if you won't conform with the standards, well, you're going to have to go to the company itself and do your own updates because we're not going to do any.
Very interesting. Now, is that what happens now? Like, are all the printer drivers, the new ones that are released, are they all made by Windows? Is that how it sort of works?
There is a standard that they follow,
right?
And the one that you have and the one that I have, they're mainstream. They all follow that standard. So the one that Windows gives you as a default driver will work with it.
Right. But I guess there's so many printers around. It's really a pain in the butt to try to write drivers for them all, right?
Yep. And if you don't have a driver, your printer's not going to work. That's always been one of the problems. You get a new operating system, it requires certain standards, and your manufacturer doesn't update the driver, and you've got a printer that might be quite new, but it won't work because there's no driver available.
Well, okay.
Ron, you skipped one just before that, and I don't see it on there. You didn't refresh.
Oh, didn't I? Let me refresh this. Did you sneak one in on me?
Yep.
You did you? Let's see here.
No, you know what? It's probably one of those that won't show.
Probably won't show in Canada, right?
Yeah. What it is, and
Is
let
it
me.
SpaceX? Is this the one from SpaceX?
No, it's
No.
it's the it was from Bloomberg. Actually, Bloomberg.ca, so that'd be Canadian. Anyway, the FAA cleared the drones for longer flights, and they're even okaying some of them farther than the line of sight, so they can deliver packages. So we were talking about that. I think it was on Monday that some of the packages, they're having trouble with getting them up there and then delivering the packages because of location and distance. But it looks like they're going to be able to do a little bit more with them, according to the FAA.
Interesting. Yeah, because we talked. I think it was last week on this show we talked about it.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, and they were having a big problem delivering them because they had to be. You couldn't drive over populated areas, and it had to be line of sight and so on and so forth. So they're making some changes. All right. Huey, what's SpaceX? What's going on here?
Okay, Kate. Let's see if I can talk here. KDDI is a communications company in Japan, and they signed an agreement with SpaceX Starlink to bring satellite to cellular service in Japan. And as long as you've got a line of sight to the skies, it will work. And so you're going to start seeing phones using Starlink built into them, I guess.
Jim, on your recent trip to the Bahamas, did you see a lot of Starlink being used there? Is that technology they're starting to use more there?
They are indeed, but people in the Bahamas already have the infrastructure, at least in the cities, for cable. But you see it on docks all the time down by the, on the water. All the big boats have Starlink antennas on them. And yeah, you see it a lot. We used cellular when we were down there, and with Google Fi, it worked fine where we were.
And were you connected on the dive boat then? Was your cell phone connected? Was it?
Yeah, almost everywhere. We're pretty close to shore. Now in the Bahamas, we were real close to shore, but even in Indonesia, we had connectivity a lot more than I expected, because we were in the middle of the Indian Ocean or it was amazingly remote. But yeah, we still got connectivity when we were near the islands. Now, sometimes because the boat would turn, we would be on the side opposite of the island, and the signal would not reach in our stateroom on that side, but we could go up on the
upper deck.
Yeah, up on the deck. But anyway, it's amazing how much better cellular is getting all over the place. And I just read, excuse me, that one of the new Microsoft Surface Pros is going to have satellite connectivity. They're working with Elon and Microsoft Surface computers, PCs will have connectivity to the satellites.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
It's changing, kids.
It's changing. And now listen, Huey, come on. Flying car ecosystem shuts up. There's going to be no room up there with all the drones and the pilots and the flying and the helicopters. How are we going to have room for flying cars?
I don't know, but they're going ahead with it. The one company has got a showroom set up in Palm Beach County and one in Miami. The thing about those airplanes is they don't have to land. They don't have to have a runway. They're like a helicopter. They have a vertical landing and a vertical liftoff. Yeah. And,
But nobody's going to actually be flying these things for the, once it becomes popular, the AIs, and they'll be talking to one another, and they'll know, they'll have positional awareness, and it there won't be too many crashes. It'll probably be safer. It'll probably be
safer than driving on the freeway, right?
Yeah.
It'll be just like a drone, which now automatically
Right.
lands at a spot,
Yeah.
designated spot, and it lands.
And it's all programmed in, and
Yep.
and they know where they are and what they're doing. I hope it's
So
getting there. I don't think it's there
Yep.
yet.
No, but as seniors, we may still see flying cars, which they talked about when we were a lot younger, but they certainly didn't come to fruition.
We were promised by the
now they are.
Jetsons
Yeah.
back in the
Hey,
60s.
we've already seen telephones on your wrist.
Yeah.
I talk to my wife through my watch, so that's one of the things.
Yes,
You're not
Tracy.
even Dick Tracy.
Boy, we're showing our age, aren't we?
Oh boy. Oh boy. Now, just to let you know that Google, and this is just a for your interest article, you can look at this by ZNet, and Google releases new apps and widgets to assist Android users, but these are AI-powered assistant widgets, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but it's an article you can look at, and just to let you know that as these new as your software updates on your phone, a lot of these are available and they're free, and you can use them. So just have a look at that article. Now, I was saying earlier when we were talking before the show, Google accidentally reveals color and details for Pixel 8 Pro. Well, I look back on my notes, and the same article was released for the 7, the 6, the 5, and the 4. It's like, this is no accident. It's purposely released.
It's accidentally on purpose.
It's accidentally on purpose, and it will be there for the 9, the 10, and 11. Anyway, it's a promotional. This is all part of the new release for the Pixel Pro, which will be coming out. I guess they'll be announcing that in October. What do you guys, is it October that the big announcement occurs with Google?
I think so.
I know that we're having an Apple coming up. We're having Apple's big event coming up soon. But I think there's a fall release for Google. This is FYI. Again, this is from Tech Radar. This is the iPhone 14 Pro Max versus the new, not yet released iPhone 15. Rumored the key differences. I say rumor, but again, this is a marketing strategy, I'm sure. But if you are considering a new phone, you may want to read that article. It's there for you. We talked about in my series of upgrading or purchase considerations for a new computer. Obviously, you're considered about storage, and I thought this was an interesting article. SanDisk all-metal USB case, 512 gigabytes flash drive, hits Amazon all-time low at $36. So,
it's waiting for me at home because I ordered it.
It is. I mean, come on, 512 gigabytes flash drive for $36. That's crazy. So obviously storage is cheap now, really cheap. So
it has more storage than one of my computers.
Well, exactly, Bob. So why do you worry about how big a hard drive is in your computer?
Yep.
You plug it, you can plug it in, it's cheap, right? So it doesn't. I was at Costco yesterday, and SanDisk had their 1 terabyte SSD drives on. It was $90. Now that's Canadian, so it's probably like $60 US for a 1 terabyte.
It's only 10. It's only $10
for a 1 terabyte. Come on, you guys, this is so cheap. So anyway, I thought that was cool. This is very interesting. Now, I know Chris is listening, and Chris is a real Canva convert, as I am, and I use it pretty much all the time now. And so Chat GPT, so OpenAI is plugging Chat GPT into Canva, so it's going to work in a big way right within Canva. So if you are a Canva user, Canva is I guess it will call it a graphics design program where I'm not sure if that's exactly the term, but it's out of Australia and has had really captivated the world over the last 3 or 4 years. It's really boomed ahead, and it's an amazing piece of software. So you probably are wondering what old batteries in cars are used for. And Nissan started selling portable power sources from old Leaf EV batteries. That's a good use for old car batteries, and they're making power sources out of them. Pretty interesting. Huey, is while we're sitting here, is there anyone else that got any comments that we should be dealing with before we move into the last 15 minutes?
Let me. I have my mic on. Okay. Let me make sure. Let's see.
Google Photos can stabilize after the fact. Chris, I think that's probably Chris is saying that. Yep, indeed. Yep. Olive says, thank you, Jim, for sharing about the housing. Gary says the technology for DSL is twisted pair wiring from the curb to the buildings, at least in BC. Carriers want to replace that section of copper and within the building too, if they can, with fiber optics. Correct. Chris probably says my iPhone has emergency connectivity through satellite. Mind-blowing. Yes, and I think they're just launching a new satellite this week for I think SpaceX is launching it for Apple to actually have their own satellite to do that. That's pretty cool. That's going to be a big deal. Olive says positional awareness should make flying safer. It sure does on our Subaru Outback. It has saved us several times. Chris says Prisma is integrated into Canva. Oh, really? Also, Chris, I didn't know that. Really? Because Chris did for those of you who watched, last week's Google Photos, last week's Tech for Senior show, Chris did a whole talk on Prisma as well. So,
and Prisma, I believe, is in version 5 or version 6. I looked at my copy of it. I'm in version 2.
Yeah, it's cool. If you haven't seen Chris's segment in our show, you should watch that. It's great, and it's of course it's on our site, so you should. It's really good. Lots of fun. All right, let's keep going. Are we finished? Oh,
one more.
Geek Wireless. The condo owners check with the FCC regarding side antennas in CCR and Rs. The FCC has ruled that condos have to be reasonably accommodative outside antennas, deck and patio railings, etc. Oh, okay. So, but the some of the problems that occurred that I don't live in one, but some of my friends had was that the condo owners, like when the DSL went away, of course, you're right. The cable companies wanted to put fiber optic in the units, but of course the condo didn't want to pay for it, right? They didn't want to. There was a big expense because it had to go into the whole condo structure, and the condo owners voted that down. So that really created a big problem if your life depended on the internet, right? Which many of them it didn't in this particular unit, but if it did, it would be a big problem for you. So are we caught up, Huey? Okay. Now, the other thing, have you guys noticed this? The new targeted ad in Google Chrome. As you travel around the internet and you're in Google Chrome, actually, you used to get random ads based on that. So now Google is putting focus. Excuse me. Google is putting focused ads in, which I think is great because I'd rather watch, ads about technology rather than ads about feminine products and stuff like that, right? I think targeted ads are great as far as I'm concerned. Bob, did you see this article on how to disable Chrome's targeted ad tracking? Did you see that?
Yeah, well, that's now live with Google. It was in a beta,
Right.
and we talked about this quite some time ago when it first came out. The good, the bad, and the ugly of this particular type of
Right.
pushing of ads. And some people enjoy it, and some people really don't like it at all. But, that's part of life. I'm sorry.
Right.
They're also making changes as far as ad goes. If you have Google TV, they're going to make longer ads, but fewer of them. It doesn't change anything. You're still going to have the same amount of ads. And if you have no ads, then you have a blank screen until the ad finishes. So, you can't get away from them. One way or the other, there's going to be ads of some type.
Right. Okay. Let's have a look here. Now this is interesting, Huey. What do you think of this? Apple could be working on an affordable MacBook to rival Chromebooks. Since Huey and I have done a lot of work over the years with Chromebooks, and Microsoft always comes out and tries to make something that's competitive, and it's got, Windows, some sort of version of Windows on some sort of cheap laptop, and they try to make that work as a Chromebook, and it never does. And so Chromebooks are still, particularly in the school system, are still really mainstay here. But Apple's working on this rival. I wonder if their technology might come up with a Chromebook rival. I don't think Windows will.
I personally think Apple's making a big mistake. They're lowering their quality to compete with something that's not in their class. And it's going to cheapen the whole Apple thing if they come out with this. But that's just my opinion.
Well, that's a good one, Bob. Nope, that's a very good option. That's a very good thought. What do you got any thoughts on that, Huey?
Yeah, the key word there is you look at that, it says they could be developing. Right. And I like Bob, I can't picture them doing that.
All right.
They are successful in some school systems with their iPads. Right. They can use the lower quality iPads. And I think that's the way they would go rather than a computer.
All right. Now, what was this article? This shorts are coming to the Google Play Store. This is an app is this the app in Google Play that allows you to manage shorts? I can't remember what the article was about. Sorry about that, but it was an article. Did you guys see this one? Does anyone know anything about this? Shorts are coming to, I think it's an app. It's a Google app that you download, and I think you're able to manage your shorts or watching shorts through this app. So if you're watching lots of shorts, you might, rather than just watch them on YouTube, you can actually watch them through this app. I think that's how it works, but I could be wrong, but it's interesting. The next one I can't see. I put it up there, but I can't see anymore. Do you know what that is?
Apple buys Swedish classical record label.
Oh yeah, that was a good article. What was, Huey, can you tell me what the label was?
I just did, and then under it says Apple has bought classical music focused record company BIS Records and will, and then it continues into the article. So
yeah, now I thought Ray might be interested in that. So if he's listening, or this is interesting because it's the classical, it's a very classical, all the old classics that have been mastered, and Apple bought that for their classical music section in their music, and I thought it was an interesting article. So here's the big deal. The iPhone 16 Ultra camera will integrate the biggest leap in photos since black and white to color, is the report on this. And the idea is here that it will take the images all in 3D. The videos will be in 3D, and you'll be able to play them back in their 3D headset, right? Like the 3D. So I don't know. You guys think that's a cool thing to do? I think it's sort of going to be interesting, but you'll be able to
ask Meta.
Yeah. I don't know.
I couldn't resist that one. Ask me.
I know. I don't know. What do you got? What do you think, Jim? You think that's going to be a big deal? Unmute yourself.
There I go.
There you go.
Do I think it's going to? Nah, they are going to, get better and better and better. I don't know that there's anything you can do to stop it. And AI is going to take more and more part of it. It's just the way the technology is. You're not going to, if you're still going to have people who want to be photo purists. So nothing wrong with that. But it's amazing.
It's going to be pretty cool.
Well, the one trade show that I went to that had a lot of 3D, but it was more the the LED screens that were the ones that were really using it. But we had 3D TVs for a while, but they certainly didn't catch on. So who knows?
True.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. And here's what Jim was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The GoPro Hero 12 Black. So what do you think, Jim? Is this a big leap forward in GoPros, or have you looked at the specs on that?
No, it's really not that big of a change, but it is incrementally. It has more resolution. That's really one of the things that they keep kicking up on these things. I forget, it's 8K. 8K. And I shoot my GoPro at 2.7K. It will, the new one, the 9 that I have will go to 4K. Mm-hmm. The earlier one will do 12. So anyway, but my phone's 4K if I want it to be. I don't I don't shoot
I have a very
resolution, and I certainly don't save. Huh? I'm sorry, Bob.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not that serious of a photographer. I take some very nice pictures, and I make some very nice pictures with editing afterwards. And I think that's the key to it. And if you want to learn how to do that, I know where you can find out.
I have a very old GoPro, and I used it to do a walk around our park. And I am still amazed when I look at it, just how crystal clear that video is compared to even today's videos that you shoot on, for me, a Pixel 6. It still compares favorably with what I can do on a Pixel 6. And that's a very old GoPro. So,
right. They are all still pretty good. I drowned one with a drone one. I had one on a drone. But yeah, the one GoPro that I do have, or one of the GoPros, the earlier one, I think it's a 6, and it had a gimbal, a pole that has a charger in it. So I'm going to take that with us when we go to traveling this trip. We're not going to be doing any diving, and I'm going to take it on our Hawaii trip as well, because we're going to do a helicopter ride. And as we were talking, it just has great stabilization and things like that. Right. So it'll work for us.
Guys, I have to go.
Right,
thanks, Bob. It was great seeing you. You be safe in New Jersey.
Yep.
We're headed to New Jersey in a couple of weeks.
Okay, guys, take care.
You bet. Thanks for coming. All right, we got a couple more articles to finish here. Google's latest Android feature updates with refresh logo. So we're getting a new logo. Android is getting a new logo. Yay! Let's just come down here. We saw that one. So just to let everyone know is that, of course, if you want to buy the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4, this is actually a very good time to buy it. It is a mind-boggling price. They're all on sale now, and it still is a very good watch. So think about that. Lots of good sales on that. I think we talked about that one. And I think that's it for the articles. Let me stop the screen share here.
I'll go back to that and play that video before we go.
Which video?
The one that was just on there. Your birthday wish.
Oh, I don't have it. I don't have it teed up.
You just went by it.
Yeah, I don't. Let's see. I can't. Where the heck is it?
I think you did that on purpose, Huey.
Yeah, I think so
I think
too,
it's
yeah.
deleted, so I can't find it.
Okay.
Anyway, listen, I want
On
to
the
thank
Facebook.
everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming. Jim, I want to thank you for being here today. It's always fun.
Yes, thank
having
you. Yes.
Always having fun having you here. Good
Oh,
luck in
great.
your endeavors and good luck on your diving. And keep those videos coming. We really enjoy them.
Yeah, well, Chris does all the work.
There you
I got
go.
a great
All right.
job.
And
Thanks
Huey,
for being here.
yep. And Huey, thank you for taking time out from your illness to come to the show.
It was a long hour for me, but I made it.
I know you take those medicine, get better, because of course we have the show on Monday to do, right?
Yep. I
All
got the
right.
show on Sunday too. We got Winsig
Oh
Sunday.
yeah, right. Okay, all right. And thanks everybody out there for who's listening. Thank you so much for listening to us today. And don't forget, we have Huey's Winsig on Sunday, and we have, of course, Jim. Are you doing a show on Sunday? I think you just did one last week. Are you doing one this Sunday?
Did one last week. We're doing one of the replays. We do a premiere of Chris's video that she actually does it on your show, but after she does it on your show, we repurpose it for the Sundays where we're not doing a live show, where we can just sit on the chat and answer questions.
Yeah.
And it's only 10 minutes, as you know, so it goes pretty quick. But our regular shows are a couple of times a month. Normally, we're going to be traveling a lot in the next couple of months, so it'll be Catch As Catch Can. We'll do one next week, and I think we may do one from the UK when we're over there, and
that'd be
maybe
cool.
Michael Daniels will be part of it. And I think
yeah. Oh, is Chris going to the Google event? Is that
yes.
what?
Yes, and I'm carrying her luggage.
Ah. There you go. All right, and then we will see everyone hopefully on Monday. Thanks for coming. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.